Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is a different screen than you're probably used to seeing from the likes of me. This is Terraria, one of my favorite games of all time, and I've been playing it a lot recently. Specifically, I've been playing Journey mode, and I want to share with you my world that I've sort of recently finished, I want to say, maybe? Question mark? But let's get started and I'll show you sort of what I've done. So I'm starting on the title screen just so I can show you the sort of stats, I guess. So this is my character, her name is Jessica. I've got 283 hours of playtime, which is, you know, a lot. And this is Jessica's journey. So 13th of July 2023 was when I created it. Now, yeah, 2.5 years ago. I haven't played on the world the entire time. Of course, I've sort of come back and forth, but the whole purpose of this world, it has been to just be like a playground world to sort of, you know, get better at the game and to learn about the game in sort of an easy way. So when new updates come out, I can, you know, explore features and all that sort of stuff, which is, yeah, kind of the point of the world. And I also want it to be a world where I can get better at building and, you know, boss fights and just get better at the game in general and learn more about the game in general. So that's sort of the purpose of this world. So let's jump straight in. Now, the world takes a really long time to load because I've done so much to it. So my computer's not that bad, don't worry. But yeah, this is a long time to load a Terraria world. Alrighty, here we go. So you can see my base here. I will get to that very soon. I'm just going to start by setting the stage, I guess. So I come into here. You can't see it, but I have researched every single item in the game. So this character is 100% complete from that stance. So every single item has been obtained and researched. I believe there's 5,389 researchable items in the game. So I used a checklist website that I'll link in the description, show you the one I used. But yeah, if I search for everything, so I've got like Waldo, I've got, I don't know, Nymph Banner, I've got Gold Water Strider, I've got everything. And I have obtained it all, you know, legitimately. But there's some items that the game considers researchable or has separate IDs but are not obtainable. And here they are. So I'll get to them. So there's a few different items in the game that you can click and change the properties of. So the void bag is one of them. So as you can see, I can right click on the void bag and open it and close it. And they're two different items. So I've got the closed void bag here. The same sort of thing for these things. You know, I can have this on in my inventory and I can't hurt critters anymore. Then I can turn it off. So there's that. So they're technically different items, but you just can't research them. So I've got all three of the rubble makers here, which are the same thing. And the encumbering stone, which just prevents stuff from going into inventory. So I can click on it again. I already have one, of course. And, you know, the 4 shell phone variants. But the sort of weird ones that I came across were these two items. This is the carrot. From what I can tell, this was made unobtainable a few years back when they discontinued the collector's edition or something. I don't know. But the idea is this summons a bunny. And it doesn't actually do it because I don't have the collector's edition and I don't know if I can obtain it now. So this is still in the game's code, you just can't obtain it through legitimate means. And the same thing with these bone blocks. So for some reason, these are the blocks that you place when you use the bone wand and bones. For some reason they have an ID and they can be researched. So yeah, but you can't actually obtain them because when you break the blocks, you just get normal bones back. So these two items are actually researchable, but they're unobtainable. How I got them was I added them to my inventory because I wanted to get this shot for this video. So everything I've done, I've obtained legitimately except these two because I wanted to show you. I haven't even researched them, as you can see, because I didn't want to sort of tarnish the character. So hope you understand. Those are the things you can't research. Every other item I have researched. So yeah, let's, I suppose, get started. And oh yeah, that does mean, by the way, I have 100% of the bestiary because the universal pylon you get from the bestiary. So if you click through all of these, by the way, I've also filled out all of these information things as well. So there's no question marks in any of these. So because I have all the banners, that's pretty natural. But yeah, I don't know if there's any exceptions actually. Some of these probably don't have banners. I don't know if this has a banner, but I have killed a lot of them. So yeah, if you go through all of these, you can see the chances for each drop and that sort of good stuff. Okay, I think that's set the stage. Let's open the map. So one thing I have done is I've uncovered basically the entire world. Now there are some black spots in the middle of things here. So you can probably see here, this is where the corruption and the Hallow were. I wanted to purify the whole world. I technically don't have a pure world anymore, but I'll get to that soon. And the way I did it was just go diagonal around the edges and then dug tunnels and then contaminated it. And it does work, it does uncover the world pretty quickly, but the problem is you get these lines going down, which I think look not great. And I didn't really want that across the whole world. So what I did was I just went along with the Rod of Harmony and I just went through and lit up every single cave, basically. There's going to be a few gaps here and there. But for the most part, I got everything. Yeah, in here there's a few gaps. There's actually a hive here. That's kind of cool. Yeah, for the most part, everything has been uncovered. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. It took a bloody long time. And, you can probably see a few features of the world, but we'll get to that. Let's get this going. So this is my forest base. I have my spawn set up here, but it's kind of pointless because the center of the world is actually like right here. So it's pretty cool. You can probably see it on the map. Yeah, spawn is right here. And yeah, this is my forest base. It's got my forest pylon. Got the tax collector here. I've been sort of shuffling the NPCs around, so I don't actually have a proper forest base. So this is populated by the tax collector and the slime here. But yeah, this is just a standard house. If I come up here, this is supposed to be a little trophy room of rare items. So I got Waldo. Supposedly this is the rarest item in the game. I actually found it really easily. When I was lighting up these caves, I actually found 2 Waldo paintings. So either it's not very rare or I got very lucky. But a lot of people seem to have had a lot of trouble with this. I reckon I probably just got a bit lucky. Rune Wizard banner, Nymph banner, Moonlord trophy, Terra toilet. This is the dirtiest block. And I've got some crates here just for fun. But yeah, it's supposed to be a little showcase of the rarest items in the game. And yeah. So I suppose we'll probably go left first, I think. So I've got a teleporter here. If I click on it, it takes you to this thing. This is an all-in-one crafting zone. So I think it can craft every item except for one station. I believe I couldn't fit one station in. It was some niche station that had only a couple of uses anyway. So it's not the end of the world, but you stand here, you can throw things into Shimmer. You've got 3 liquids up here. I've got this vault here for the void bag, so I probably could put it there. There's a wall missing behind that. That's nice. But yeah, and you can also have the guide here. So that's pretty cool if you need to speak to him to see what items. So if you're doing a 100% journey mode character, I recommend having a setup like this. So I'll let you screenshot it, I guess, if you want to do it for yourself. I took inspiration from an image I found on Google and then just modified it a little bit just to make it more suitable to me because I can just teleport here instead of falling down. But yeah, and I also used, I think it was marble blocks painted shadow paint for the black effect around the side. I didn't want to be able to see the caves for some reason. I don't know, I thought it looked cool to have it, so I just filled everything here in with the marble blocks so you can see, just like that. Alright, let's go. So we'll go over this way. I did a little bit of forest landscaping here because this was completely flat. I thought it was really boring and I wanted to put something here. I made a little bridge with a cave type sort of thing. We come down here. Oh, by the way, probably already saw it, but these are the accessories that I use. Pretty good stuff. I can swap between these two if I want to. This was when I was in the underground snow to try and get rid of the chill debuff from going through the water. And this is like my practice loadout for when I'm trying to find or trying to fight like bosses when I'm practicing for actual worlds. So I don't have to keep wasting summons. I can practice here until I'm good at the bosses, and then I can go to the world and do it properly. And this is my fishing setup. So I've got all the fishing stuff, which is good. But this is the one I normally just go with. Generally, I play on God mode just because it's less annoying. Yeah, I do abuse journey powers a lot because it is a journey world. Okay, so this is my elevator place. This is where the demolitionist lives. So, yeah, the idea, I suppose, is he's a miner, I guess. But yeah, like the demolitionist. If I come up here, these are supposed to be the 4... I was supposed to try to represent the 4 best class loadouts, I guess. So, or the best loadouts for all 4 classes. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah, all this. I ended up getting menacing on all of these things. I don't know why I did it, but in case I ever want to demonstrate, I suppose. These loadouts are just here. So, yeah, we'll do underground later, I think. So if we come down here, we've got this little area, which I think looks lovely. So there were a few living trees in this world. They did not get a great treatment. So this one didn't get a great treatment, of course. And over here, this one didn't get a very good treatment either. And I think that's it for the living trees. Yeah, so I figured this one here, I'd treat it a little nicer. So this is actually a proper living tree setup, but I modified it to get proper trees. I had to destroy all the leaves and replace them so I could make them like, on the map here so they're all lit up and revealed. But this is where the cat, the dog, and the rabbit lives, which I think is pretty cool. I was sort of going for a foresty area. I'm not the best builder in the game, or in the world, so I was quite proud of this though. I thought this looked pretty cool. So if we go along over here, this is a fishing hub type thing. The idea was to have a teleporter to take me to every fishing biome. Well, most of them at least. I think I missed a couple, but I got most of them here. So if I go on here, it takes me to a hallowed fishing pond, which looks pretty cool. Crimson. I wanted to make it like this thing over here, the crafting room, where you couldn't see the outside. But in some places you can, which is... well, in all of them you can. I cannot be bothered to fill all of those blocks in, because that actually took me like half an hour, I want to say, to fill all this in. Maybe less, but yeah. Oh well. I'll just go through them all. You can sort of see what they look like. Yeah. This one doesn't have anything. This is supposed to be a sky one. But I didn't end up building a sky one, because all of them are underground. I didn't want... yeah, I didn't build a sky one. But over here are the actual cavern layers. So this one, yeah, looks pretty rubbish because you can see outside of it. But ooh, demon altar, nice. Yeah, I won't go through all of these. But yeah, that's all of that. So we'll move on over this way. The snow biome. I haven't really done too much with the snow biome. I did make this little hotel thing. So this is where my snow pylon is. So yeah, just a little house type thing. It's meant to be like a hotel kind of thing. So princess, clothier. I did have a good NPC setup, but in journey mode, it really doesn't matter what the setup looks like. So yeah, that's that. I think there's actually an item that requires the sky mill to be used in the snow biome. So that's why that's there, just in case you care. But yeah, that's the snow pylon right here. So let's move on. Alrighty, so this is a little old fishing pond type thing before I created the other setup. This was meant to be a dragonfly farm, but it didn't really work. And I couldn't really be bothered to get rid of it. But the idea is you stand here, dragonflies spawn over there, and you go catch them. That was when I was trying to get the golden dragonfly. This is a large fishing pond because I needed salmon for the research entries. And salmon needs 1,000 blocks of water. So I made a large pond. I used this for like, I think less than 5 minutes. It took me about probably half an hour to make. Probably didn't take half an hour. Probably took me 20 minutes to make. And then I used it for less than 5 minutes. So yeah, that well worth it. And I thought you'd be able to see the cheap on the map, but you can't, which was a bit disappointing, but that's okay. So we'll make our way over here. Alright, so this world was very lucky in that it only had one evil biome. I mean, well, I'd consider that lucky. So it only had one crimson and it was really far away. So I don't know if that's a journey mode world quirk or something, but yeah, I got quite lucky with that sort of thing. So what I ended up doing was I made this little thing going around it. I don't have the slimy saddle. And I made it out of rainbow bricks because they're expensive, and I thought I might as well do it here. So yeah, I purified the entire crimson and made this path underneath it and turned it into a hallowed biome. So we'll go around the other side because I've got something on the other side I'll show you, I guess. So this is supposed to be a farm, like a service enemy farm. I ended up using it for critters. So that's why there's 3 houses here, because it decreases other spawn rates. So I used that to farm, I think, a gold squirrel or something. I can't remember. It was some sort of critter. But yeah, you can stand here, fight Pumpkin Moon or something. It's very easy in journey mode when you don't take damage. So if I come over here, you can see it's a crimson desert. Well, it's a Hallow desert now, but you can see the crimson like remnants. Okay, so this is my trophy room. It has every single boss trophy, every single relic of all the bosses in the game. And then up the top here, this is in case any new bosses get added to the game. I'll have to fudge it all around, but you know, at least I'll be able to store them somewhere. So I think 5 bosses ago was like 1.2. So I don't actually think in the past decade 5 new bosses have been added in total. Maybe 5 trophies, but I'm not sure. So hopefully 5 is enough for a little while. Hopefully they don't add 5 new bosses in 1.4.5. I was going to put every single boss drop in these chests. I got up to Skeletron and then decided I could not be bothered. So yeah, I might come back to that. Maybe, we'll see. Alright, so this is my hallowed base. I think marble and green goes great together. That's why you'll see this a little bit throughout the world. Marble and green go really well together. I've got a party girl here. Wizard and steampunker all live here. I think it looks pretty cool. This is my first ever custom tree, which I think it turned out quite nice. It was a small little tree, but you know, I'm not very detailed with building, but I like this tree a lot. So if we come over to here, this is the edge of the Hallow. And oh yeah, I was saying before how like the world was pure, but now it's not anymore. That's because, you know, there's the Hallow here, so I can get the pylon and the underground crimson for the fishing spot. But technically the world's not pure, so we can speak to the Dryad when we get to her. This is every banner in the game, which is kind of cool. They're all displayed here. I believe I put them here in the order that they appear on the wiki. Yeah, every single banner in the game. Kind of cool, I think. Yeah, I was very satisfied with that. The one thing I did want to do when I started the world was research every item, and I only recently finished that because of the sheer amount of items there are in this game. It just took so much longer than I thought it would take. So that's why it took so long to actually research the items in the game. I thought I'd be done with this like a year ago, but I didn't realize there were that many items, and it is almost unbelievable how many items there are in this game. So if you ever want to try it, good luck, because it's very tedious. So dungeon here, probably won't bother going down there. It's just a dungeon. Yeah. Meteorite. This is my ocean base. It's not great, but I don't know how to upgrade it or improve it much. So I've got the pirate, got the angler, got the cyborg here. Yeah, it looks okay. It serves its purpose. It's like a little restaurant type thing. And then this is where my ocean pylon is. This is my Duke Fishron arena, where I was practicing Duke Fishron, because Duke Fishron is a very, very overpowered boss to be able to kill early. So if you can kill it pre-mech, you can get a really good weapon. So this is where I was trying to practice doing that for, I think, a master mode playthrough or something. This tunnel here takes you to the dungeon. So I should have just made a teleporter, but I made a tunnel instead. But yeah, that is basically everything on this half of the world. Perhaps we'll look at the underground and then we'll go to the right half. Sounds like a good idea, I think. So if we come down here, I'm going to get the slimy... Actually, no, I need the gelatinous pillar, and that's what I need. Whoop. Makes you fall fast. Yeah, this is what the underground looks like throughout the whole world. It's just lit up with ultra bright torches. Alrighty, so this is my cavern pylon. I made a little fishing spot down here, and this is where the goblin, the mechanic, and the guide live. The guide lives up in this little cage. I thought that was funny. But yeah, if we come over here, I'll get to the teleporter in a minute. This was the first proper underground farm I did, so I tried to make it look good. As you can see, there's supposed to be 140 jungle blocks, but I got rid of them for some reason. There's enough ice to make a snow biome, enough of stone to be able to convert to whatever biome I want. If I the teleporter here, because that was before I had the Rod of Discord, and this one teleports me back over here. If I stand here, I can spawn slimes, I think. Oh, that one's the dart trap one. Okay, so this one's the slimes one. But yeah, normally I would just stand up here now with the minions if I needed a research entry or something along those lines. Yeah, this is also a really good spot to find the critters if you're looking for them, for the gem critters. So they can spawn near towns a lot more. So let's we'll go straight down. Actually, I'm just gonna do this. So I tried to recreate the don't dig up seed. So where where you just spawn an island and it's just lava along the whole way. So I destroyed the entirety of the underworld and then filled it with lava. So yeah, there's that. I'll make my way over there. This is where I killed the wall of flesh. Apparently, that's where the box is. So yeah, I destroyed it all and then filled it up with lava. Filling up both sides of this with lava took ages. I think it took about 80 hours of real time of holding down the button. But I didn't do that. I did it when I went to work. I plugged my mouse in and then did the hold down button trick. And yeah, just did that for a couple of weeks while I was at work. And then, yeah, there's lava down there. Don't know why I did it, but it's there. Alrighty, let's go right now. So, I'll show you where this teleporter goes later. This switch here, it actuates this. So, you know, you've got this thing here, but I've got my Eternia crystal stand here. It breaks it every time you turn the switch on, but, you know, that's down here. So yeah, this is also an arena. It's not the best arena, it's actually a pretty bad arena. But it got me through, you know, the invasions and that, and the farming and all that stuff. So I've got lizard altar. If we come up here, this is like a pumpkin moon AFK type thing when I was trying to farm sort of stuff. I just almost knocked my water over. Great. So yeah, I just AFK up here and drops would come to me. But yeah, that's a pretty handy thing to have. I keep going this way. Is that everything from this spot? Yeah. I keep on going this way. Up here. Oh no, we've got this thing. Yes. We've got this. So this is where that teleporter goes, by the way. This is supposed to be like a museum or a zoo. This is every single critter in the game. And I've displayed them all here. And I think it looks pretty cool. So I'm not the best at detailing, but that's why I went with the marble look, because it does look pretty fancy like this. But yeah, these are all the souls and the fireflies in a jar and that, just to, you know, be complete about it, I guess. But every single critter is stored here. These are all the gold critters, and there's a few signs around the place. Yeah, every single gem critter, all the birds and butterflies and everything. All the critters are here, which is awesome. I'm pretty sure all the critters are here from the extensive checks that I've done of this. Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. And I made the zoologist a house over here. Just because, why not? I think it's pretty cool. Hi, Becca. Yeah, did that just for kind of look. So it's like the zoologist collected all the critters is the idea of the place. Alrighty, let's move on. Okay, so this right here, this is a mouse farm. I need for the gold mouse. What I did was I stood here. I'll show you how this works. If I turn the enemies up here, and then you sort of start moving, and if I get the bug net, it spawns in critters in this spot here, because this is a living wood. This room here was natural living wood. So if I go down here, it sort of hovers back and forth between the spawning zones. And I'd like it to spawn a mouse, please. Oh, I don't think it does because there's an NPCs here. Okay, when you fill this room with NPCs, it does spawn mice, trust me. That's how I got the gold mouse. And I'm very glad I went to the effort of making this entire spawning area, because I think it took me about 2,000 mice, which is to get the gold mouse, which is 1 in 400. So I'm glad I did that, and glad I didn't have to do that grind otherwise. Okay, and actually I did forget something, my bad. Up here. This is a bait farm. Well, not a bait farm, this is just a standard critter farm. So you stand here, bunnies and stuff get caught in these hoik traps. They zip straight to you. Pretty cool. This is a dragonfly farm before I took the roof off of it for some reason, I don't know. But yeah, you just jump on in here, catch the dragonflies, and move on type thing. I'm going to now turn that down. And it also was a frog farm. What you do is you convert this grass here to mud, to jungle mud, and then you can go along and it spawns frogs. So it's not a very fast frog farm, but it did spawn frogs, which was the important thing. And I could do it fully AFK. So I got the golden frog out of that. Okay, so this is a desert dragonfly farm. Some dragonflies only spawn in the desert, which is, yeah, cool. So I needed another way to get the dragonflies. And I didn't need a gold dragonfly from this, so I just had to catch one of each individual dragonflies. This is my desert pylon. It's just a little house, nothing fancy. The arms dealer, nurse, and dye trader. I've come over here. This is a underground desert farm. If I want to farm the entries for the desert and that, this is here, and it's quite useful. There were some rare items in the desert, and especially like the Crimson and the Corruption and the Hallowed underground desert. That farm was good to have. We'll leave it at that. If I keep going this way, so this is my church build. I made a little church thing. This is just a graveyard biome, so I can get the items and the stuff necessary for or necessary for completion, but stuff that is obtainable in the graveyard. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually quite like that build. I was quite proud of that. If I come up here, this is a mushroom pylon, probably the most boring pylon in the entire world. It does work. There is a slime here. So yeah, just the most boring base I have in this world for the mushroom pylon, but that's there so the truffle can live there. Okay, so there's a lot of pumpkins here because I was trying to get the pumpkin pet. And on the top here, there are these trees here that I would shake once a day to be able to get some of the fruits and the stuff. So I would just replace this with different blocks to get different fruits, depending on the type of tree that's there. And yeah, that was quite handy. There's a lot of different items you get from shaking trees. I've got the Shimmer here because I would throw a platinum coin into it to give myself a luck boost for the day. But what this setup here, this was a golden grasshopper farm. So what I would do, I'll sort of show you how it works. I won't be able to show you very well. Oh, here we go, this will do. What I would do is I'd run along, I'd take the Terra Spark boost off, I'd run along and pick up the grasshoppers. And the way I could do this AFK was I bound move right to a mouse button, so I could hold both buttons down to be able to swing this and collect grasshoppers. And what it would do, once I got to the end, I keep going, it would teleport me to the next one underneath, and I could just keep going. And by the time I got to the end of the 5th one, it would have spawned the grass back in again. So there was no downtime or anything like that. I'm glad I built this farm too, because I was way behind on my luck for this farm. I can probably just keep that on now, I think. I was way behind my luck. I think I got like, wasn't as bad as the mouse, but it was over 1,000 at least to be able to get the golden grasshopper. Okay, so I missed a couple things, I think. So this is a water strider farm. How it works, pretty simple. You just go along here. You put 3 NPCs down here to limit other spawns. And you just drive along this thing here. It was pretty good. It's actually really efficient because the Arapamas don't go on the top of the water where the water striders live. So if I turn this up, well, they didn't. Oh, it's because there's no NPCs there, that's why. If I can find it, I can prove my point. There we go, water strider. When there's NPCs there, there's far fewer enemies around the place. You can also get the greb, or grebe, whatever it is. But yeah, and if you do this same sort of setup in the ocean, you can get a golden seahorse, which is exactly what I did. But I have destroyed that farm, and I'll show you why when I get there. Okay, so we're coming up to the jungle base. So this is another very basic pylon setup. I got the dryad, the witch doctor. There's a plane going over my house. Alrighty, so yeah, this is the jungle base that I sort of set up. Down here was my first attempt at getting the golden frog. Yeah, it didn't really work out. So you can just ignore that, but that is a way to get the buggy and the grubby and the sluggy. Even if you're in a normal world, this is a really easy way to get bait in the early game without having to rely on the flower boots thing, which doesn't work anymore, of course. So, but if I come over here, just teleports me to the lizard temple, and I've got a little farm here for plantaira bulbs and life fruit. You know, basic stuff. Yeah, let's keep moving on. I would like to fill in some of this world with more builds, because there's a lot of gaps, like here and like down here, that don't really have anything. I'm not creative, so that's okay. I've got plenty of room if I do ever think of something. Okay, this lags a lot when you come up to it. This is my pyramid. I wanted to build a desert pyramid, my own custom pyramid. Interestingly, there actually was a naturally generated pyramid here. So it ended up being like there, I think. Something like that. But I actually built a proper one over the top of it. And in it has every single armor and every single vanity set in the game. It doesn't have every vanity piece in the game, just because I ran out of room, basically. I might make an extension to this one day, but it has every single vanity set, which is these things over here. All the Halloween and Christmas costumes over here. And these are 9 of the developer sets. These are most of the pre-hard mode armors. These are most of the these are all the hard mode armors and some of the pre-hard mode armors, and these are the other developer sets. And these are like the 8 main ones. Like these are the solar armors. And these are the 4 best pre-Moonlord armors, like 1 for each class and that. So, if you look on the map, you'll see that there's these things. Yeah, the idea was to make a meteorite that would crash onto the world. But I this thing here like protects it or something. I don't know. This is just what my brain came up with for some reason. So that's why this thing is here. Supposed to protect from the meteors. And it's doing a good job because these have been here well over a year and they have not moved an inch. So, you know, that works, I guess. I don't know what I was doing with these. I think the idea was the core of a meteor gets hot. So I was trying to make it so that it would look realistic, but it definitely does not. It just looks like banana-shaped rocks barreling towards Earth. But, you know, I still think these look really cool. I was quite proud of these. And these took, you know, a long time to build. For some reason, there's a water candle up here. I think I was farming for something. Maybe I was farming for the space Martian things. But yeah, these also serve a second purpose of preventing meteors from spawning anywhere else in the world. So now I won't ever come along and find, you know, my bridge is meteorited. So that actually has a purpose, which is kind of cool. Now if we fall down, I got a little oasis for fishing, I guess, if I felt like it. Now if we come over here, this is my Shimmer biome. I just kind of filled in the cave. So yeah, just got myself a Shimmer biome. Nothing special. And if we come over here, this is where my universal pylon is. And I made a boat. So yeah, I felt like making a boat. I wanted at least one of the oceans to have something cool on it. So this is why I destroyed the seahorse farm, by the way. There was a seahorse. There was the same as the water strider farm, like build around here to farm seahorses, but it was in the way of the boat. So, or yeah, it was in the way of the boat construction. Yeah, this is the boat. It's actually quite like it. I actually really enjoy building this. It doesn't look the best. It looks a little bit silly, but that's okay. I really enjoyed making this, and I think it turned out pretty cool. So yeah, you know, you come down here, you got your toilet and your lounge room. You got your restaurant and kitchen and bunk beds, and this is like the cargo. So we've got a bunch of crates in here, which is kind of cool. And yeah, that's basically that. That's the edge of the world. We've run all the way along the edge, or all the way along the world, and seen just about everything there is to see. Yeah, I have thoroughly enjoyed playing on this world. I am honestly not too sure what like the future of this world's going to be. I have researched every single item. I've done most things. I might make a museum to display all the paintings, because they were actually quite tough to get. The final painting I actually got was the cat sword painting, which, yeah, it doesn't actually appear on any like map viewers or anything. So yeah, but I did end up getting it after a long while. But you know, mathematically, there's probably going to be some sort of painting I miss. But yeah, this is my Terraria world. I hope you like it, and I may make some more content on Terraria soon. I really enjoy this game, and I think some future content of this game could be a lot of fun and pretty cool. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Ta-ra!